What is up, everyone? Hope you guys had a decent day of trading today. So I'm just gonna kind of go over the trades that I took. So the first trade I took was, as you can see, it was a short. And the reason why I entered short there was because if we look at what was it? The 144 range bar, I believe on this one right here, right? Yep. Yes. So we were pretty close to reaching that 50% fib level. And when it's this close, I'm always just like, all right, I should be good. We shouldn't really worry too much that it didn't really perfectly touch that zone area. So that's why I kind of entered short, but I just looked for the opportunity, and the opportunity is that it's the same thing that what we've been looking at, like for these past, I don't know, at least a month now. And it's been doing us wonders. I'm telling you, it's so good. This is my model that I made. So we have this low, then we also have this high, then we have this formed right here. This tiny high and this tiny low formed within the higher high and the lower low down here. We get that nice confirmed breakout on this candle here. Then what I do next is I simply just go onto the 21 range, which is one time frame lower than the 34 range. At least that's how I use it. So it's like the fib level, so that's what I like to use. So if we look at the 21 range, you can see that we close on the 34, the 34 range closes right here. So it's this candle, this up close candle is where the 34 are kind of closes. And I was a little hesitant on entering on this down close candle, which you can see I kind of entered, 2 points lower than where I potentially could have. I was a little hesitant just because I first wanted to kind of see a down close candle on the 21R. And then I wanted price to kind of come back in. And as you can see, if I did do that, then I would have been able to enter short right here and probably take profit right here. Approximately, depending on like where I get filled. But yeah, like still works pretty well. So that was my first entry. And then also you can see like you could enter down here and then kind of take your profits over here with your stop above the high or even above this high as well. But that was the first trade I took, and it's just the same thing what we've been looking at. And then, that 144R does close. So once it does close, once this 144R closes, you could just enter short kind of right away. But I was waiting for a little bit more of a pullback somewhere just into this area, at least, so I could get a little bit of a better fill and get my 10 points that way. But, that opportunity never happened. And we do keep on going down a little bit, but nothing too crazy as of yet. And then the next entry I took, I waited about an hour or so, almost an hour. And I was telling myself like, all right, I'm going to be done by 7:30, like no matter what. But I saw a good opportunity on the 55 start to develop starting around 7:05 is when it starts to develop. So I saw like 25 minutes or so, but price has just not been really as volatile as I guess it should be or it could be. So I was just kind of waiting, and I was just waiting for this high to either be broken or this low to be taken out, which you can see it doesn't really happen yet. So I'm still looking for my setup. I had an idea of, all right, if this high is formed, this low is formed, as long as we were able to break under without wicking, then I'll look for short entries. But you can see that doesn't happen. So we can see we still haven't broken that high, we still haven't broken this low, so I can still look for potential entries. 7:30 hits about here, and then we finally get that nice move to the downside that I was looking for. So it happens around 7:37 where I kind of entered. But this is just an interesting story that happened here. So first, we wait for that retracement inside. Then, we have to look onto the lower time frame, just one time frame lower, to make sure that, we get a nice down close and this is where I want to enter. So I kind of just waited for price to retrace back into this area, and I entered short here. And, I would have gotten like a good amount of points, almost like 15 to 20 points. But thing is, I entered here and price went down like maybe 6-ish points. And, once we're 5 to 7 points in profit, I tend to move my stop loss to break even. And I was very close to getting stopped out, but then it went back down to like another 4 or 5 points. But then it was coming back up to my stop loss. But then my girl, she came in to say goodbye because she's heading out to work. And it was I guess it was just a little bit of inconvenient timing, but as well as me not really trusting myself, or just like not even trusting myself, but just like leaving my stop loss at break even and not even touching it. Because if I did that, then what had transpired probably wouldn't have transpired. And the thing that happened was I entered short. We were in profit, so I moved down to my profit, my stop loss down to break even. And price was maybe like a point or two away. But since I kind of just want to say bye to my girl, I just closed my position at that time, it was like, I don't know, maybe like a point or two in profit, but I just closed out. And then price just moved way too quickly before my stop loss, which is a buy stop order, could get canceled. So since price moved way too quickly, my buy stop order actually got triggered for a long. And as you can see, I definitely didn't want to do that, especially like over here, because you also never know, like price could come back up, but you'd be in drawdown here and it's just kind of going against what you wanted. So since I closed my position early, price just triggered the buy stop order, which was my stop loss order, a little bit too quickly, because my buy stop order, which is my stop loss, wasn't able to get canceled. So since it was still on the chart, I entered long. I mean, I didn't mean to, or I didn't want to, but it just didn't get canceled quick enough. So it was unfortunate, and I felt a little bad about that. But it was not her fault at all, definitely. So that occurred right here. This is like this first pink arrow is just from my original sell. Then I think like this one right here was this blue one. The bottom one was when I closed the position, but then price went up a little too quickly before my buy stop could get canceled, and then it got triggered for a buy stop, and then I ended up having to close my position down here for like 2 to 3 points of a loss. But since we had an earlier win, I was kind of okay with that. Didn't really mind too much. But at the time, it was very unexpected, and I was like, what the heck just happened? So that was kind of interesting and crazy. But yeah, I felt bad about that. And then I saw another opportunity once we kind of swept this high. We got a nice down close, so I kind of entered, and I just went in for another scalp, a very quick scalp. I didn't really want to stay in a position any longer than I really didn't have, if I really didn't have to. So I was fine, just honestly just scalping 5 points. My stop was going to be like down, right above this high, and you can see it kind of worked out. I also did get in another short right here just for another very quick scalp, nothing too major. But the reason why I kind of entered around here is if we just look at the 233, price has been going down as well. Look at this 233 candle. We can see that from this high to the low, we touched that 50% retracement area. So since we touched that 50% retracement area right here, that's when I'm starting to look shorts. Also, I did have this zone kind of drawn out, signaling that, you know, we could definitely hit this area. But I did like how we had that little bounce right there, because if you look at the weekly, you can see that in this area we have like kind of the low volume nodes, and in the middle we have a high volume node, which is exactly where we had a tiny bounce. It's kind of hard to see, but put a line right here. That horizontal line, you can see we kind of had the bounce around that area, and this is where it was nice because I saw it as an opportunity to go short. So yeah, that was that. We do have more room to kind of go down a little bit more, but because there is a whole bunch of inefficiency here, so price is just, you know, just trying to balance out. But those were just the 4 trades I took today. So I would say it's like, was it 4 trades? I think it was 4 trades. So it was what, like 3 dubs maybe? Let's actually look back at it to make sure we got the right number. So we have 1 win, followed by, I would say, break even, followed by a loss, unfortunately, followed by a short win. So 2 wins. So we had 5 trades in total actually, but I executed 4, but we ended up having 5. So I would say it was 3 dubs, so 3 wins, 1 break even. But this trade I probably would have gotten stopped out at this trade if I didn't secure at like 4 points, and also at this trade if I didn't secure at 5 points. So luckily I did. That's why we're counting it as a win, but I wouldn't say it's a full win. It's maybe like a half win. So instead of having like 3 wins with 2 of them being like half wins, maybe we just have 2 actual wins, you know? But yeah, I'm literally just following my model to the T. I'm not doing anything else. I am looking at, you know, some order flow. That's pretty much it. You know, you just kind of see some bubbles, some balls, and pretty much you get a better feel of where price is going to go. You can see that there's a big sell order here. Market comes back up, respects it, then starts to kind of sell off. And these are just kind of the stuff that I kind of look for. And you can also see like we get some nice selling pressure. We have a little bit of buying pressure, but then price kind of comes back down, which makes me have like strong confluence to enter this first trade. So it's just like stuff like this you kind of just got to be on the lookout for. But yeah, so those were the trades I took for today. Nothing else. Don't overtrade. Stay confident. Believe in yourself. And that's about it. Peace.